Hello everyone, welcome back to the Jet Podcast presented to you by IABI. My name is Iyad, and in this podcast we interview aircraft sales brokers, charter brokers, operators, and we discuss with them business and private aviation. Our guest today is Ali Merchant from Hala Yachts. Ali, my brother, welcome to the Jet Podcast.
Hey, yeah, thank you so much for having me over. Super excited.
Of course, my brother. It's been last time I saw you was it what, 6 months, 7 months already?
6 or 7 months, yes, man. And we always stay in touch. But
Fort Lauderdale, Marina.
Sure.
Of course, man. Of course. Ali, can you please tell the audience a little bit about yourself, your background, Hala Yachts?
Sure. Yes, I'm the CEO and founder of Hala Yachts. I'm a experienced licensed sales broker here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, United States. And I've been doing this for almost over 15 years now. I started my journey in the research vessel and navigation systems of yachting and big vessels. And it trickled down into the ways of getting into the yachting world, where now we offer services such as charter, sales, and management. Very similar to your world, Yacht.
Yes, 100%. I mean, guys, me and Ali, he's my yacht guy, I'm his jet guy. So that's the relationship that we have, and it's always been working.
Amazing. It's been such an amazing thing to bounce back clients. They're so similar. You and I both deal with the 1%, and that's the beauty of it. I think our worlds are so similar, yet so different. A lot of your challenges are before the jet leaves. A lot of my stuff is when the yacht actually leaves. So there's a lot of stuff that goes
Sailing, yeah.
But I think that from the sales process, process of things, from prospecting, identifying, presenting, and closing, I think we all share very similar. We, just like you guys, are 24/7.
100%.
And we like to service all around the globe. So when a client calls, we put on our white gloves and we're ready to get into action.
Go ahead. Yes, my brother. So our audience is mostly charter brokers. So I really thought that this episode is going to be great because let's discuss the charters, yacht charters, the process. Tell us a little bit more about the process from quote request to booking, contracts, payments.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So a lot of prospecting, just like you, comes through from different arenas. You're doing digital marketing, you're attending events, and just like how there's air shows, we have boat shows. So we do that all around the globe. As you may have known as well, Fort Lauderdale Boat Show is one of the biggest. So a lot of times we do meet a lot of clients from there, but as well as operators of the vessel. Just like operators and charter brokers in the jet world, we utilize other people's yachts. Sometimes they're using ours. So it's always good to be in a good relationship with even individuals who are not working directly for you or with you, because one way or another, we're all there. From the sales process part of things, as I mentioned earlier, we're very similar. We do go out prospecting. We do identify. We do get a lot of people who say, hey, they want to get into the boating world. But let's be honest, it's not everybody's cup of tea. So it's very important to vet them.
100%.
And to do that, in order to do that, it's great to ask as many questions. The more educated you can come off as your client about your client and their needs, the better products and services you're able to offer, which only makes you a great broker. Let's be honest, in both of our worlds, things don't always go right. So what needs to be done by knowing what your client wants gives you an upper legs to not only just give them bad news, but tag it along with good news. That's when the closing side of it comes and setting the real expectations. And in our world, contracts, things like that get done fairly quickly as well, just like they do in yours. But besides that, we have 3 different kinds of charters that actually happen. So even though the process stays the same, the types of charters can be very different. For you guys, it's point A to point B. But for us, it's a lot of stuff that goes between. There's 4-hour, 6-hour, 8-hour charters, which we like to call day charters. And then we've got the second category, which is called term or multi-day charters, which a lot of clients that you've sent me have been able to do. They want to do something they want to go to Bahamas, Nassau, or some of these islands that we have down here, and they want to spend a week. What do they do out there? They reach out to someone like us, and we coordinate a trip and an itinerary that involves water activities, allows live chefs to be on board, and then to be able to have a home outside of their home on water. So you take care of the air and I take care of the sea, my friend. Now, in this process,
That's so true. That's so true.
the term charters have something that we have noticed have vastly become popular in Europe as well as in the United States. And there's a lot of things that get involved in it. Just like you, in our contracts, we have four parties. We have the owner, we have the client, we have the broker, and lastly, we have the captain. So with all these four parties being on there, there's full transparency that's actually established between, because I'm in the graces of the service, the boat, and the food to be all matching perfectly for our clients' needs. Hence, we take a very huge importance on putting effort into making sure that we've got everything on board. Because unlike a jet where it might be just a few hours, we're out on the water for days. So for us to be able to be well equipped, that means with life jackets, safety briefings, as well as all of the client's needs, is vital for us to be able to execute a successful charter and to expect repeat business from that client.
Interesting, brother. So I have a question. Why the contract with the captain? What's the point of it? It's interesting that you guys have that.
Great question to ask. According to the International Yacht Brokers Association, which is used basically all around the globe, Europe has its own standard, which is called MIBA, just for you to know. The four parties are all contracted. The law states that a yacht is actually given to the client, and the client is supposed to be contracting the captain, as well as the insurance, the food, the chef, all the good stuff. The reason a broker is brought into play is to be able to accommodate all that, put it into a contract, and that the client can see exactly what they're paying for, and the transparencies belongs to all four parties. So not only does the owner of the boat know what I'm getting paid, the captain knows as well. The only difference may be that the dealings between the owner of the boat and myself may be different, but everything else is very transparent to the client, so they know where their funds are being allocated to.
Okay. And what about the sourcing side? So your client requested a quote and you're going out there sourcing. What is your process usually to source those yachts, whether it's Dubai, whether it's Miami?
Sure. Unlike the jet world, we don't really have softwares out there in place. There are a growing number of softwares that are coming out, but a lot of it is proprietary softwares that we use in-house, or a book of business or book of operators that are built up. In my case, I have over 2,500 operators that I work with around the globe. That gives me, and those operators include direct owners, or something that we call central agents appointed by the owners, or lastly, captains / managers, would tend to be common in the smaller boats. We vary in size from everything from 40 foot all the way up to 400 footers, and a licensed US broker such as myself has access to that on the sales and the charter side.
Okay. And you just said the what's the sizes of the yachts that we have like in the market?
Sure. So if we're looking at feet, we're looking at 40 feet all the way up to 300 feet. And it depends. The bigger the boat, the longer the duration. Minimum durations are sometimes required in certain cities. For example, in Miami, it's very easy to get a boat up to 120 people, 120 foot to accommodate for a day charter. In Europe, that may not be true. They would require you to do at least 3 days. That also goes along with the local Coast Guard laws. You might be very surprised, and I get this question a lot because I have clients from Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Europe who are accustomed to having 20 to 50 guests on board. In the United States, you're only limited to 13 guests on board. It could
13.
have 70
I remember.
crew members, but only 13 passengers. And
Yeah.
it takes a little bit for people to take that in, and that is due to the fact of the bareboat U.S. Customs regulations that put into place to able to restrict them to 13 guests, and that includes everybody, the primary and their guests.
True. I remember we had the situation in the past when we had more guests and we had to get the two boats together next to each other so they can party together. And well done for that. So I have a question about pricing. So the price per hour. How do you compare the size of the boat with the price per hour? Can you give me like an average right now? US.
Well, different markets dictate different pricing, and pricing is always dictated due to this the high season or low season. That dictates cost of the marina, cost of the crew, all of those things come along. I'll give you an example. A boat, a 70-foot boat for 4 hours in Miami with crew, gratuity, captain, as well as with having water and ice, fuel, and all that good stuff, would run you for 4 hours at about $3,500 to $4,000. That same 70-foot in Hamptons runs you between $8,000 to $9,000 for the 4 hours. And the reason being is just because of the cost of living being higher in those regions. So those things vary. A lot of times what's going to vary is the year of the boat. And just like how it is in jets, we also have something called refits or refurbs. So we do have those. And the most commonly, which you will see in our, what a modern boat is considered is very different than a modern jet, as we've worked in the past and spoken on. A modern boat is 2020 and above for us. Something that's considered a B category would be 2015 to 2020. C category would be 2010 to 2015. I think in the jet world is a little bit different, which I had to learn from the last time when you presented options to me. So I wanted to kind of clarify.
Yeah. But that's really interesting. So in aircraft charter, when I'm flying a jet, I have to pay for fuel, I have to pay handling, overflight permits, landing permits, parking. On your side of the world, I think it's kind of similar, but a little bit different. So tell me about the costs. What costs do you have?
Great question to ask. Actually, during the times when you look at day charters, the world has now moved into the whole thing of having an all-inclusive price: fuel, docking, crew, captain, water and ice on board. Food and beverages is something that's organized through third-party catering companies, which Hala Yachts also is partnered up with. So we are one-stop shop. That also comes with water toys. If you want jet skis or sea bobs on board, which a lot of people may want to do, we can do a la carte allocations for that. When it comes to multi-day charters, then the game changes into the jet world. Then you're just renting the boat and the captain and the crew, and all costs, fuel, dockage, food, catering, all that good stuff falls into an escrow account, which we collect. So, for example, a charter cost for 3 days is $50,000. We will take an additional 50%, which is 25%, and put it into an escrow account and title it APA. APA stands for Advanced Provisioning Allowance. This is an allowance set for the boat so that if the boat owner, the client at that point, who's considered the owner since he's leasing that boat or renting it out, may say, I want to go to Miami today, and then tomorrow changes his mind and says, I want to go to Nassau. That obviously taking consideration of time allows them to do this kind of a trip. The captain does not have to go back to the drawing board, recalculate. They can take it from the escrow account, which has allocated the fuel costs, marina costs, things of that sort that I mentioned about. So there are two different kinds of charter worlds. One is the day charter world, which is very easy, all inclusive. I can basically, you send me, I need 3 options for this date, this duration, and this guest. I can send them over to you. Now, if you ask me, hey, I have a guest who wants to go from Miami to Nassau in 7 days, that would require a little bit more, asking him how many guests are going to be sleeping overnight, what kind of food they want, what are their preferences. Maybe they don't like, just like how in jets, you've pointed out that there's challengers and preferences to a Gulfstream. Same exact way goes with the yachting world, where different manufacturers bring a little bit of a different pace. And when you're staying overnight, I'm sure everybody, it's like a hotel on water. So some people choose Marriott, some choose Westin, whatever fits your bill.
It's all about the experience.
Exactly. And in that experience, there's really, as I was mentioning, 3, we call it the trifecta to be able to manage. One is the boat, one is the service, and the other is the crew. So the boat is obviously, it's got to run well. Sometimes AC can break down, something's can happen. Boats break down all the time. And that's why having a good manager or having a good operator is just as important as having an Argus or Vibrant rated operator in your business. Same exact way, we have those operators that we know throughout experience have a great maintenance. So we know the boat's good. That brings along the crew. So when you go with a good operator, they have good crew. A good crew comes with good chef or chefs and a service on that front, which allows us to have the perfect trifecta. And during this time, things can slide, but we like to keep the trifecta as close as possible to be able to manage that expectation of the client. And that's what makes me and my team a great team. Everybody can be a broker and everybody can do a deal, but we come in is when things go wrong. And that's when we are able to bring in this extra white glove service that requires and kind of work together to come up with a solution to get our client to the end place.
Beautiful, man. So when I'm booking with an operator, aircraft, when I'm booking an aircraft with the operator, I will ask them for the AOC. I will ask them for the DO85 just to make sure that the aircraft is on the certificate. On your side, is there something like that? Is there some paperwork that you ask for to prove ownership or to prove that they can actually charter that boat for you?
Yes, definitely. So a lot of times when we do go on, our contracts require insurance numbers, companies numbers, registration, and hull number. Hull number is basically your tail number just placed on a boat. And so we require that paperwork to put it into the system so that tomorrow when the clients are out and about, they know. Besides that, also they need to have a livery permit that allows them to do business in the county that they're planning to do business in. So that those things kind of come into play as well. And then lastly is the big part, which is the insurance. There's regular insurance and there's charter insurance. Again, fairly common in your world as well. And those are the certain requirements that need to be instilled in the contract where the contract's invalid. At Hala Yachts, we work very closely with the Coast Guards to develop our contracts. We work on 80-20 base contract, which is a bareboat contract. And then there with the other contract that we love to work with is the International Yacht Brokers Association contracts. These contracts are built by the Broker Association to be able to service charters anywhere around the globe. Some owners do prefer to have their own as well. So at times redundancy can be there, but I think it's better to be safe than sorry in these cases to protect everybody legally and to obviously keep that peace of mind for all four parties involved.
Of course. So, in our industry, we have AOGs. You probably have something because it's, again, the boat is an equipment. Can you tell us what was first of all, what's the name of it? What's the AOG name in the yachts? And what was the last one? How you handled it? How did you recover?
Sure. So we call it the boat's grounded in a way too, or stationed. So we don't necessarily, a lot of times what happens, the boat can move, but supposedly the AC is broken and you are in Dubai or Abu Dhabi and just those hot months, you can't be moving you can't move the boat if there's issues in terms of AC, or if there's issues with sea keepers. Sea keepers are things such as where the boat tends to stay stable and does not move depending on how the waves are going. So it keeps the boat a lot more stable. So things like that can pop up. So in our world, with our same exact way, we like to offer them something similar or greater than what's been presented them already. And it does happen. And sometimes in busy times, unfortunately, we aren't able to find options. But that's why it's very vital for us to always kind of be prepared with backups, which I think is very common in your world. I think I faced a few with you as well, and you were fairly quick about getting it. And as a respected brokerage, even if it means that we need to dig into our pockets to cover and to make that experience wonderful for our client, we will make that happen.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when AOGs happen with me, a lot of times we try to even try not to get the client to pay anything extra. Sometimes we dig into our pockets, but at the end of the day, it's how you handle that. I actually tell the client, look, it's this much extra, but you're not paying anything. So they can see that, we're actually taking the hit for you. And that's how you build loyalty with these clients. So, and what was the last AOG you had? How did you handle it?
So the last one that actually happened was actually yesterday. Funny that you bring that up. Yeah, so we get to the boat. It was a last second charter. The client wanted a day before. It's Art Basel in Miami, one of the busiest times for us here in Miami. And we had a 68 Azimuth that was supposed to be meeting them right outside of Palm Blue. The clients were staying at Palm Blue. We decided to have the boat pick them up right across through their dock, to their loading dock that we've been able to arrange. Everything was good to go. Catering was set up. Everything's good to go. Right when we come through, right when the boat is making it to the dock, the seakeeper gives out, which is basically what I was mentioning, the balancing of the boat. Now, take in consideration there were older adults on this boat, and I did understand that even though it was calm waters, this could be problematic and could create a situation, for us to be able to not be able to prevent that at a later time, especially if they were in the water. It would create an experience that probably would not have been as in their liking as much as we'd wanted them to be. Hence, we decided to upgrade them to a newer modern boat. It did position us to move them from one location to another. Since they're found blue, we had to move them to Miami Beach Marina. But what we did was I was able to, in a fairly short amount of time, set up ground transportation for all 13 passengers through a Mercedes Sprinter and have them sent right to Miami Beach, there and back. Yet what it left with, initially, the client was a little upset, right? Because he wanted to kind of have his plan set up. Everybody was staying at Found Blue. But instead of going to him with bad news, I went with good news, saying not only am I putting you on a newer boat, but I'm going to handle all of your logistics. We won't have to worry about the heat. The catering's already been set up. So at the end of the day, it may have been rough start, but we were able to get calm waters later. And I think that's what the biggest part. And I think with that kind of a success story, not only did it lead to having a referral being sent to me this morning, but also that appreciation and gratefulness that I get as a business owner sitting here to be able to say that my client of 5 years is still can still face issues out there that any junior broker would. But it's the experience, the wisdom, and the decision making in a timely manner that allowed us to make this thing smooth sailing. So that's where I think we stand, and I think that was
Yes, yes.
story for us.
Brother, that's first of all, that's well done. Just like kind of the same with when we have an AOG situation, try to recover to the client. We try to go up above and beyond, but also these clients, that's not their first time to charter a boat or yacht or a plane. They've been in this situation before. It's just a matter how you handle the situation and recovered. I want to ask about the catering. Catering is big on our side, especially on long flights. But I think in yacht it's a little bit more challenging and demanding, because especially when they're asking for chefs, that's when it comes to, okay, now we have somebody cooking on the boat. So tell me more about the catering situations you've been into.
Sure. Catering can be sometimes nightmarish as well, and I'll give you some good stories and some bad ones too. uh,
Let's
Catering is
go.
we do it in two different ways. So we have two branches of catering. In day charter world, doing just a food drop off is very common, since the cost of live chef can vary. Depends on the kind of chef you want. As we know now, Michelin star chefs are also, we have access to those, and we have access to about 1,500 chefs globally that are basically waiting for a call from us to be able to accommodate us. And a lot of them are also have, just like anybody, has their specialties that they focus on. So if we have clients who want sushi specifically or wanted to stick with a certain kind of cuisine, we're able to do that. The way it works is whenever a charter is booked, once the boat's booked up, we provide them with multiple menus after getting them advising us on what their preferences are in terms of the cuisine. We send them several menus and we ask them if they're interested in doing catering. And we set the expectation right, stating that these are prepped meals being delivered and they're going to be warmed up. So if someone wants some like steak, filet mignon, we're not going to advise them to have it catered. We're going to advise them to move in the live chef route. Now, even when we do go the live chef route, it also determines what boat they're going on, because boats need to have kitchens or galleys big enough to be able to accommodate someone cooking. So if someone wants to go on a small boat, a 40-foot boat, which cannot accommodate a kitchen to be for a chef to cook, catering is the only option. So I think that the biggest first step is to make sure that they're on a boat big enough so that they have a kitchen big enough to be able to cook food out. And then comes in,
Makes sense.
then it comes in the setting up the prepping, coordination, and the client's expectations. So we have a preference sheet where we draw out determining any allergies, preferences they may have. Especially if it's a multi-day charter, it becomes even more imperative because some people's menus, cuisines change. Sometimes there's birthdays or bachelorette parties, cuisines and settings and events and ambiance needs to be set up. And that all falls in the catering or the chef's team's lap. Hence, communication is key between us. Whereas in our world, we are so transparent that we connect the client, the chef, the boat owner, the captain, the boat owner, everybody together, so that nothing gets lost. Because once they're out at sea, and this has happened before, where they don't have enough food, now I have to send a tender or call Iyad. Hey, Iyad, I need you to get a helicopter or a seaplane to drop off some food in Nassau, Bahamas. So that's what happens to us. So to avoid that, that's why there's so much transparency. That's why
Preparation, transparency.
preparation is key. I think I've heard one of your podcasts before that you said until the jet is landed, brokers, nothing is ever set. Same exact way. So when we're on a 7-day trip, and even though we have funds in our hand months before, I'm not celebrating until that guy's getting off that boat, because then I'm going, everything went well, right? And I think that's the big part, is those trifecta that we need to manage. That's why there's so much planning, and that's why brokers do so much behind scenes that nobody even sees. That means me just showing up at a boat and ensuring everything. There's plenty of times I go to the boat an hour before and the client doesn't know that I've stopped by, and I've ensured everything and put the final touches of things. And they're like, oh my God, the crew's great. But that's because I want the crew to look great as well, because they are family at that point. I want them to get off the boat saying, this was an amazing experience. And I've had success stories of that recently as well, where one of my clients' daughter went on her first cruise, a term charter trip to Bahamas and back. And she had nothing but hugs and tears in her eyes when she got off. And it was just amazing sight to see. That just felt, that's the gratitude, the feeling that a broker gets. It's like, wow, I made this person's vacation something to remember. So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes you inside feel happy that you were actually able to successfully start this, do it right, do it with all your heart, and now they're happy that you did it. Tell me stress stories. We have a stressful industry, so tell me stress stories. Let it out.
Stress stories. I'll give you one that I'm still recovering from. It happened. It happened in February of this year. My client of 6 years always loves doing day charters, and he's an individual who tends to loves to keep small groups, but loves to take his friends out. Decided we would do a trip from Miami to Bimini and back to Miami in 3 days. It's a doable trip. It requires a lot of planning, and we had to start on Friday at 10 a.m. and be back at Sunday at 10 a.m. due to his flight and travel arrangements set for his guests and him. We had a successful departure on one of the most beautiful boats that I recommended. It's a 2018 a 95-footer tri-deck boat. What does that mean? Not only does it have a main cabin, it has an additional deck, and then it has a tri-deck. So it creates ample amount of space
Wow.
to be able to offer. A boat like that goes for about $15,000 to $20,000 per day, plus cost of fuel, things of that sort that come along. It's a 5-cabin boat with 5 bathrooms, 4 crew members, and as well as it comes with a chef. So when we're talking about, excellence in terms of boat presentation, we got it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the captain of that boat got sick 3 days before the boat was supposed to leave. So we had a change of captain. An experienced captain who comes from a similar boat, but not the same boat. And you know how they say, you need to know your equipment. And we thought he did. And we got to Bimini. Everything was good. On Sunday, I told him, before you leave, I need you to take the boat out, go by the sandbar, and just let the client see the sunrise, let them enjoy breakfast before they make it back. We made it to the sandbar, but the boat got stuck because he didn't judge the tides. Now,
Oh no.
on a boat, stuck on sand, enjoy a beautiful view, but they can't move. So I then had to organize a tender pickup to take them back, and then organize. I think you may remember I organized a seaplane with you back in the day, and that was for this client of mine. And that's when we went. It was a lot to take in, but the boat finally made it back 3 days after the tides were normal, things like that, and I had to pull it out. But it was probably a tough story to tell my client, who I convinced to do multi-day charters to make a moment in their lifetime to remember. Well, they definitely did remember, just not a moment that I wanted them to.
Yeah, they never forgot that.
So
They know it's like that. That's the thing. Yeah, go ahead.
So over the course, since then to now, I have done 2 charters with that gentleman. As you may already assume, he stuck with day charters in Miami. So it was a
No more
success. I
Bimini.
mean, it came back, but it came back with a lot. I had to do a lot of credits. I've basically we've allocated that the next 5 charters we would be our profit margins are going to be 0, and we wanted to do this so that to show the client that even though this was not my fault, it is my responsibility, and it is my responsibility to make sure
One
that
hundred
never happens
percent.
again. So I could point fingers, but we don't do that at Hala. We do things
What's the point?
internally, we fix things internally, and we a lot of times we have good conversations, but at times we need to have uncomfortable ones, and we're okay with that, and that comes with the business, as you may know already.
Beautiful. So, talking about business, how is it running Hala Yachts as a business, as growth, as expansion, hiring? Tell me about the journey, man. How's it going?
So, as you know, I've worked with a lot of big brokerages in the past, and Hala Yachts came about a year ago into planning. It required us to not only take my current book of business to transfer it over to Hala Yachts, but to also be able to expand it in different markets. Currently, we're focused out of the 51 locations that we plan to roll out to over the course of the next 3 years. And the reason why the rollouts can take some time is due to the fact of expansion of website, integration, things like that. The 4 markets that we're currently focused on are Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, Nassau, Bahamas, Dubai, and Abu Dhabi are the 4 markets that you will find on our current website as well. The website and our expansion currently only shows a piece of where we're going, and that's only because we want to make sure that we're setting the expectations correctly with our clients. Anybody who comes to our website, they may say the boats that they're seeing, that doesn't show all the inventory. We like to showcase and we like to create a conversation with our clients. And all we ask for is let us know the date, let us know where you want to go, how many guests you got. And if there's a budget or preference in size, we'll get it to you. We'll get 3 options to you within 3 hours. And if it makes sense, we'll move forward. Not only can we assist you with all aspects of the charter, but even outside of that. If you need to know how to get to the marina, we can handle that. If you need to make sure we can get food, we can get that. If you need to fly in, we truly have our colleague over here with Iyad to be able to assist us there too. So we're here to able to provide all sides of it. And the reasons why we're focusing on those markets as well is due to the fact that we want to make sure that we have partners such as yourself that we can work alongside with, that when we're promoting all these events that we're planning to do, we can show are the clients a side that they've never seen in this market before.
That's so true, man. That's so true. I didn't ask you this. What was a request that was challenging from a client? The client was like, I need this. Was it a crazy request? Was it challenging? Tell me.
The most challenging requests tend to be always last minute. And those are going to be tough because a lot of times it's hard. Unlike, well, actually very similar to the jet world, our crew needs to prep the jet or prep the boats. They need to prep the boat itself. They need to prep themselves, their safety briefings. They need to go through all the security checks to be able to make sure that they're not putting our clients in a bad place. So a lot of times we get a lot of these that happen during New Year's Eve or during New Year's Day. We get these last minute charter requests with limited inventory, with not having a lot of time. Sometimes going after rushing into accommodate requests can create issues later on. So what we've realized is that instead of trying to always win, we sometimes have to say, set the right expectations to our clients and pivot them so that they understand what they're getting into. If the transparency is there, then it makes life a lot easier for us to have a conversation at a later time with them if things are not always perfect. And things don't always go perfect. So I would say, for example, we had yesterday a request, which I was able to accommodate for a client. The client wanted his charter was scheduled from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And in the yacht charter world, the times cannot change. Unlike jets, where the clients can come, they have a leeway time of 30 to 45 minutes or such, or it may or may not. And I know you've a lot granted me that in the past for my clients. In our yacht world, there is none. There's a grace period of maybe 10 minutes. So if a client says, well, I'm coming in late, I'll just push it. Doesn't work that way because that yacht has been booked for the next client, or the crew who you've contracted is allocated for that time. Hence, on the contracts, all 4 parties go. So this client came in late. They wanted to go across the river, which is an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back. While going there, the client goes there, we drop him off, we stated everything, we let him know, look, he forgot his phone on the boat. So he wanted us to turn the boat around and accommodate this. Now, take in consideration, the boat is placed where there's bridges, and bridges are timed every 30 minutes. So that extra 30 minutes could lead into an additional hour because now the boat has to wait until the bridge opens up. This was a request I could not accommodate without charging additional. Fortunately, the person who left the phone was not the primary guest. He was the secondary guest. So we spoke to the primary, we explained the situation, and the primary said, Ali, I would like you to do what you think is best. And what we did at that point was we let the secondary guest know that his phone is going to be delivered by Uber to them once the boat gets back. The boat got back 2 hours later, but the phone was delivered. The client wasn't initially happy, but we had to set the expectation right that this was on. We are trying to do the best we can as a courtesy, even though this incurs additional cost, because we wanted to do right by our primary client. The primary client called me this morning and let us know, thank you so much, Ali, for handling it. And even though those additional things ended up costing us additional dollars, it was something that I wasn't able to accommodate, yet still do and get to the point to where we needed to without hurting our relationship with our client. And I think those kind of things kind of come into play. It creates obviously uncomfortable conversations, but at the end of the day, I like to say this to the team, all we can do is all we can do.
True. But well done on resolving that issue. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you need to balance between doing what's best for the client and at the same time actually saving the business or working around it. Let me ask you this: what kind of mistake charter brokers out there do all the time, and you recommend to keep an eye on?
Getting things done in a timely manner and communication is key. when I first got into this industry and I got my first boat on the platform, and I was so happy I was getting business, where I realized the clients would come, my captains and crews were never happy because the clients would come to the marina and they would never know where the boat is located. And some of these clients opt to bring their own food or drinks. And now they're sitting at the marina and nobody has connected them with the captain or the boat manager to allow a smooth sailing departure or getting to the boat. It would be so what we've noticed is because a lot of times brokers have this mentality that their clients might get taken away by the boat owner or the captain due to some bad experience they may have passed. It's created a thing of less is more, which I think is the worst idea. Because what happens is the client now doesn't have enough information, or didn't know that there were towels on board, or didn't know that they had to bring their own sunscreen, didn't know where the boat was, things like that. They have sushi in their hand. They're coming to the boat and now they're upset. Man, where have you guys been? The captain's like, I don't know. I've been on the boat waiting for you. He doesn't know the broker never gave him the address, the proper slip, the pier. There's like 9 million boats here. Where am I supposed to go? So I, as a professional, as a seasoned broker, 3 days before the charter, set a group chat with the client, the captain, and myself. And I have a conversation with the captain prior stating, hey, I'm going to set up this group chat. All I need you to do is state what I asked. And it would state, hey guys, we're confirmed for the charter for so-and-so on this boat from this time located at this marina. Hey, Captain John, can you please introduce yourself and give us the exact appearance and number? Hey, Mr. Client so-and-so, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in this group and I'll be happy to answer them. Now, all those questions get answered.
There you go.
A rapport gets built before they get on the boat. They feel so comfortable with Captain Sam that when they get in, they're like, I feel like I know you, Cap. I spoke to you 3 days ago. And now what that does,
right? We've been speaking over the last 3 days.
All that pressure away. Or else what would happen is, hey, I'm at the boat. Where should I go, left or right? And I'm sitting here in my house going, I don't know which direction to give them because I don't know where the boat is. So I feel
that's so true. That's so true.
I feel all of those little factors provide being transparent, making sure you covered your bases, making sure you have things written down are very, very important. When someone gives me a confirmation, I want to extend for an hour, I need it over text so that tomorrow they don't say, well, I never asked for an extension. Well, the operator's been paid out. I need the funds to be collected. So that's the other thing. And the other advice I would give any new charter broker is please be open to learning. There's so much to learn. After 15 years of being in this business, I still learn things that I never knew. So that's the one thing. And then the last thing is please don't be afraid to having uncomfortable conversations. That's part of the business. Communication is key. Sometimes it's good news, sometimes it's bad news, but we have to deliver.
100%, man. Honestly, even like you were talking about learning, even in this industry, I work with so many operators and manage so many different aircrafts, but every day we're learning something new, and every day that improves us to make us either better brokers, better operators, provide better service. But man, beautiful episode. I learned a lot from this one just now on the yacht side. I'm sure a lot of people who's watching this episode is learning as well. Ali, it was great to have you, brother. It gave me goosebumps to see you again and have you here. I appreciate your time.
Man, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Iyad. It was such a great opportunity to talk about this and kind of share that world. And we're happy to assist, as always, any of your clients or others. And we're looking forward to seeing you soon.
Of course, brother. We'll book soon together. Bye. Thank you, everyone, for watching the episode. Please make sure to subscribe to our social media channels and watch the other podcast episodes. And we look forward to see you on the next one.